thrilled to be here. This place is not too shabby. Okay, by show of hands, or maybe by applause, because actually let's do applause because I can't see all of your hands. How many have never seen this movie? Quite a few. Well, rest assured, you're seeing it tonight under the best possible circumstances. Gaslight actually played in this very theater almost exactly 80 years ago. It opened, I know, right? It opened at the Los Angeles Theater on July 18th, 1944, along with a Tex Avery cartoon called Happy Go Nutty, starring Screwy Squirrel. It's true. All you Screwy Squirrel fans, I am so sorry we don't have the cartoon tonight, even though I'm sure it pairs perfectly with gothic melodrama. Another difference between then and now is back then the Los Angeles Theater was open all night, meaning you could buy your ticket and sit and watch Gaslight and Happy Go Nutty over and over and over again until the sun came up. Well, the times may have changed, but this is probably the closest we can come to getting in a time machine and actually reliving that original 1944 experience, which is pretty cool. And those of you seeing the film for the first time are smart to experience it on the big screen. That's how it was meant to be seen, and it's still the best way to see it. I don't care how big your TV is at home. It's not. This is the way to see it. And yeah, it's just a beautifully made movie. MGM was known as the Tiffany Studio for a reason, and you're going to see those high standards of quality up on the screen. Every detail of the 19th century costumes by Irene, the Oscar-winning art direction by Cedric Gibbons, the lighting, the music, the cinematography, the exquisite direction by the great George Cukor, and of course the Oscar-caliber acting of Ingrid Bergman, Charles Boyer, Angela Lansbury, and Joseph Cotton, Dave May Whitty. The whole cast is spectacular. So, as you may already know, this movie was based on the 1938 British play Gaslight by Patrick Hamilton, which was retitled Angel Street on Broadway, where it was a big hit. Then there was a UK film made in 1940, which was very good. And finally, the version we're watching is The Last Word. It's Hollywood's big-budget A-picture offering. Now, the story was ahead of its time in depicting this kind of sophisticated psychological abuse, which, of course, today is known as gaslighting. The subtle art of making someone doubt their version of reality had never really been dramatized before. And Charles Boyer had never played this kind of character before. His riveting performance as the suave Gregory Anton is, as the Hollywood Reporter observed, brilliant. And so boldly different from the sensitive, romantic, kind of playboy roles he usually enacted. For going out on this limb, he was rewarded with an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. And although Boyer's agent got him top billing, and he's wonderful in the film, this is truly Ingrid Bergman's movie, let's face it. She gives a masterclass in dramatic acting. Anyone here studying acting, pay close attention to Ingrid Bergman. She received her first Best Actress Academy Award for this role, and she really earns it. I'm not sure I've ever seen a broader spectrum of emotions more perfectly expressed in a single movie than by Ingrid Bergman as Paula in Gaslight. You'll see her go from sturdy to fragile, from giddy with happiness to quivering with terror, from confident to broken, and back again with a vengeance. In the climactic scene where Paula finally turns the tables on her gaslighter, co-screenwriter Walter Reich described her as a goddess of vengeance. I love that. And this is what gives her dynamic dame status in my book, Dynamic Dames, about powerful leading ladies in the movies. Without giving anything away, I'll just say that Paula seems hypersensitive and vulnerable and not so dynamic through most of the film, But in the end, we see her inner fire rise to the surface once she discovers how manipulated she's been. It's her moment of empowerment, and it is glorious. The film weaves this dark spell of gothic mystery and intrigue, but you'll be happy to know apparently everyone had tons of fun making it. George Cukor was in his element, surrounded by some of the best talent in Hollywood. Bergman and Boyer both delighted in playing against their usual types, and 17-year-old Angela Lansbury was in heaven making her very first film, for which she also earned an Oscar nomination, as Nancy, the parlor maid with attitude, and she plays it to the hilt. Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer broke up laughing quite a few times during shooting, especially filming a scene early in the film when he's standing waiting for her and she runs into his arms and they share a passionate embrace. Well, Boyer was not quite as tall as his leading lady, so they propped him up on what Bergman called a ridiculous little box. And they both had a hard time suppressing their giggles in what's supposed to be a highly dramatic moment. Boyer said he found making Gaslight a very amusing experience. And his son was born during filming, so he passed out champagne and was on top of the world. Ingrid Bergman recalled the making of Gaslight as one of the greatest experiences of her life, which is pretty good. And she said of Charles Boyer, he was the most intelligent actor I have ever worked with and one of the very nicest. Bergman and Joseph Cotton shared such a playful sense of humor that they staged an elaborate practical joke toward the end of filming. Inspired by the maid's black and white uniform in Gaslight, Ingrid had the MGM wardrobe department dress her and Joe up as a maid and butler. Then they crashed a formal party at David O. Selznick's house and served food and drinks to the guests. I guess you had to be there. Apparently the guests did not find it that amusing, though, and neither did Selznick. Aside from this stunt, though, there's really no juicy gossip about the actors, no illicit affairs, no feuding, no backstabbing, no gaslighting behind the scenes. With this movie, all the drama is on the screen, which is exactly where it belongs. All right. Okay, if you came here tonight to see some gaslighting, you will not be disappointed. As the title implies, there is gaslighting galore in this movie. And as an added bonus, you'll also see other psychological manipulation tactics with terms that did not exist in 1944. You're going to see gatekeeping, triangulating, love bombing, and stalking. Keep an eye out for those. Oh, and lots of mansplaining. Fasten your seatbelts for that. But all joking aside, I'm sure all of us at some point in our lives have had someone use at least one of these tricks to try to control or dominate or manipulate us. I have. Which makes the evil in this story all the more relatable, relevant, and effective, I think. And it's one of many reasons the film holds up so well after 80 years. So now I'm going to stop talking about this movie and let you watch it for yourself. I hope you get swept up into this Victorian thriller like I always do, just not so swept up that you actually get gaslighted. We don't want that to happen. Just enjoy it responsibly. Thank you very much.